what what I was getting at was, and that's what I was trying to put across to Joyce was, we can get them a pre-assessment. If you go to the car dealership, you can get a ballpark idea of what this Cadillac, Lincoln, Lexus, whatever is going to run you. You have an idea of what you're looking at. Do I want the backup assisted steering? Do I want the backup camera? Do I want satellite radio? The thing is, with what Danny Bismarck was talking about, it's stuff that they will have to have. You know, what size AC unit? Do you have this? Do you have that? What are you having so we can fine tune what you need? Basically, it's more technical because on a commercial level, there's different size HVA systems. There's different size, especially if you're dealing with a restaurant. They may have one Coke machine with an ice maker. They may have five of them. They may have an electric grill. They may have a gas grill. They need to know more so they know how to design a system. It's kind of like with GeoStellar. We get their electric bill so we know how much they're consuming. But on the commercial level, they need to know what size units, what size components they're using, so they know how much power they're actually going to need. You're basically going from high school to college in a nutshell on their level. And that's something that on your end say, hey, look, they need this information. I'm going to give you their number. Let them specify what they need. It just gets that simple.
And,
It's kind of become a mediator.
and to let y'all know something, the panels are still warranted for the 25 years and stuff like that. One of the most important things dealing with commercial aspects, and I'm sorry about that, power glitch is still going on here, and I lost y'all. But one of the most important things is on the commercial aspects is a 15-year warranty on your inverter. The reason for that is, as Jeremy was talking, the commercial and the industrial aspects put a lot more wear on the inverter, so there's only a 15-year warranty on it. It's not saying that the panels are not going to work as efficiently, but it's the inverters that eventually may wear out before the panels do. And so them aspects. The most important thing right now is you need to understand is through 2022, I believe it is, there's still, or 21, I believe now, it is with the residential. Is that my speaker that's doing that?
Hey, you guys mute.
There we go. How's that?
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
2021, I believe it's the residential. It is ITC credit. It is for residential. On the commercial aspects, it is the ITC credit. Plus one other thing you need to understand, if they're a business that for the next 5 years after they go solar, they get the ITC, or not ITC, they get the depreciation credit, which is another 30%. I think in 2018 it drops down to 26%. But they're still getting credit. So right now, as of the rest of this year, you're looking at 30% ITC credit. You're looking at 30% depreciation over the next 5 years on that aspect. You're looking, so someone has $100,000 commercial aspect or solar job. They're only looking at $40,000 worth of expenses. They're looking to end up saving a $100,000 system, then just a rounded up figure. They're probably looking at saving about $1.3, $1.4 million overall through the years. And so when you get this paperwork,
Lane, we're getting a little interference, and I think it's coming from your call. Am I staticky to anybody else?
no, I unplugged my speaker. I think it's on my end. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it may have to do with the glitches on your side.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about that, but
I mean, I just bring that up because a lot of people have, muted out trying to get rid of background noise, and it seems to be that it's probably on your side, with the glitch.
Well,
and in case y'all aren't aware, Sunday evening we had somewhere around here, we had at least an F1 tornado go through, and Lane was one of the ones that was able to get his power back on in an hour or two. I got mine back about Monday about 6 o'clock. So
And there's still a lot of people.
there are still a lot of people that ain't going to have power for at least 2 more days.
No, there's some people I saw today that aren't going to have it for about another week. So, and I'm sorry about the feedback. What's happening is the other recording that shut me off is recording, and so if there's a little feedback, I'm sorry. But the one thing you need to look at is the residential is the one that you want to deal with that's going to get you the best income started right now. It's the easiest one to work with. GeoStellar, them up there are great. And the aspect of the commercial, like I was talking with you about, Karen, before I got cut off, is that there is a time frame dealing with them, the bigger ones. It will pay off farther down the road, but there may be more aspects. The first month might be a lot of work on your end. Then there'll be the kind of dead zone for a month or two, whereas the CFOs and the CPAs look at it, and the installers come out and say, okay, we can do this, we can't do that, we can do this. And then if there's pace involved with it, there's the availability for that. But the aspect after that is the third, fourth month, going into fifth month. Everything is set up to install it, and as with the aspect of getting the paperwork signed first and then the install, if you're looking at a $30,000, $40,000, $100,000 payoff, you're looking at getting that check after that. But right now, to get you running to go full time with crew, the residential is your best bet. It's the easiest one to deal with because there are people that you know that you care about, family, friends, co-workers that you may be working right now with. They're going to listen to you. And they're the easiest ones to convince, which most of them are already looking at solar right now. And that's the area you want to head to. And then from there, as you want to move into commercial, you can go that route. And by then, you'll have enough experience with the residential to truly understand the commercial aspects. Okay? Questions?
Well, I want to make one quick comment, and I'm going to use the ladies as an example here, is that y'all, a lot of times, I'm sorry, Lane is a chef. He's a doggone good chef.
I'm not chef no more.
Well, you're still a good cook, okay? I can testify from Monday. I can grill, and I can make some heck of a pizza. But the thing is, women have a natural knack to be able to cook where men kind of fall short sometimes, okay? But if y'all ever think back about it, you think about grandma's pot roast or grandma's cake or whatever, did you want her to rush through it? Yeah, you want her to hurry up and get it. But if grandma's in a rush or mama's in a rush, is she putting cake or salt in her cake? Is she putting sugar or salt in her cake? You know, if you rush the situation, and that's part of the thing with the commercial, if you rush it, you end up getting salt instead of sugar where you need to. And that's why it's a little, Jenny's in there shaking her head. Yeah, I know, redneck analogy. But the point is,
I love your analogies. I think it's edutaining, educating and entertaining. I love it. You're great.
well, redneck 101. But the thing is, sometimes the best stuff, if you've ever had pot roast, grandma's pot roast, turkey, whatever, apple pie, it's the one that's been cooking, slow cooking. That's the best stuff. You enjoy it the most. It pays off the most. You hate waiting, but it's the biggest reward. So, like I said, you get a bigger reward. But like I'm saying, your friends, your local, people people you trust. These people are confident in you, and it's easier to get rolling because, one, they're confident in you, and you're more comfortable because they trust you. You're not scared that you're going to do something wrong. They know, you know that, oh, I made a boo-boo. Man, I'm still kind of new at this. Well, you know, hey, nobody's perfect. You know, the thing is, y'all don't just give up. You know, bear in mind, you're learning. That's what y'all doing. What y'all doing right now? Y'all fine tuning and flip in a lot of ways. Y'all gonna smoke me. But we turned around and I sat there and posted something. Were you one of the 61,000 people without power? Do you wish you had power and solar backup? I was up to midnight last night because people were just, I want an estimate. I want an estimate. I want an estimate. I'm like, geez, oh my God. Damn, I thought I was going to sleep at about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Wrong answer. The thing is, in that battery backup option, now that people are stuck without power for days, and they're like, well, I got $150 worth of groceries I got to throw away. And if you had solar power and battery backup, you wouldn't be wasting it.
And all of Texas, given that we periodically have hurricanes, are candidates for what you just said. Or any state that has hurricanes and knows that every 5 or 10 years, with just what you said, is gonna happen, period.
You always, like you said, states where you know you're going to have a situation, tornadoes, hurricanes, tropical depressions, anytime you know you're going to have these situations, this is something where you can have the battery backup option. That's always a good thing. And I've had more people. I got done working, you know, I'm painting, and I'm like, all right, we got done. Let's get out of sight, out of mind. And I'm sorry. They need this one. You know what? They were answering last night. Let me see if I can hurry and put in there. Oh my goodness, I couldn't sleep. Lane was up. He got less sleep than I did. Now I know it's normal for him, but for me, I can't function. So, you know, the thing is, you'll see that there's things that you can utilize where people are in need, where you have a benefit. Battery backup. Look at how this can benefit you. Those are the things that you can really, without throwing it in their face, you can just kind of mention it and bring it up. And hey, I hadn't thought about that before. I should have, but I didn't. You know, that's like Lane putting daggum tennis balls on a walker with me the other day. I wasn't thinking about it, but you know what? When I was at the ER, yeah, I grabbed a doggone wheelchair. I couldn't walk. I felt bad. I felt like one of them people at the Walmart that 450 pounds, and the biggest reason they're that big is because they won't get up and walk and buy the groceries. They're going to ride that little cart around. Use that for the people that really seriously need it. You know, I'm not knocking anybody that's disabled, but if you're able to get up and do something, do it. I worked yesterday. I worked today. I should have been at home, but I can't sit back and not do something. But see, that's the thing. Y'all are doing a great job. Y'all are learning. Y'all are asking questions. The best way to find out what you don't know is to ask. So, you know, that's what Lane and Mir here trying to help y'all do. And like we said before, if you got a question, you know, ahead of time, flip, ask it, and we'll address it ahead of time. We'll target that particular subject.
Okay, Jeremy, let me get in here, and I know Mike's got a question, and I had one from Joyce. So where can we find that kind of backup information for educational purposes? What are you looking for, Joyce, in that aspect? I want to hit this question. I got Mike Powers and stuff, but let me go down through here. This is right before I got cut off that she posted it in. I'm trying to find out what she's actually looking for. Okay. Let's see. The numbers and dates should residential income ITC credits. Oh, you talking about the expiration of them? Excuse me. Joyce, we're okay this year. I'll find out. I've got a web page and stuff that explains everything in the breakdown, and I'll get that up later. Right now, we're okay this year, so everybody run with that. We've got 30% ITC credit on both residential and commercial, and we have the 30% under depreciation. I will get that information out for everybody. So, actually, The long term is, I think, another 5 years on commercial with the ITC credits. It will go down to 10% and it'll stick there. The residential will eventually expire, tilts down too. But let me find that sheet and I'll get that for you. Okay, Mike, let me go through here. And Mike says he is asking. Yeah, Mike, what question do you have, buddy?
Okay, I'd like to ask a question about, I just put a couple more into the system today, and I want to ask about one in particular. I would share my screen, but I got my dog barking behind me, and I want to apologize for being late, but I had to wire in. A neighbor across the street's been having a really hard time with cancer, and her ceiling fan went out. My son and I were over wiring it up. He's finishing off after I got it wired, so I apologize, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But my question is this. I have a proposal that shows $28,491.78. Now, when I divide that out by the kilowatt of the system I'm putting on here, it comes out to $4.09. From that, we have a $2,088 Crew Plus discount, and it shows on the right-hand side the cash payment, because this was put in as a cash deal. The cash payment is $22,047.60. So I took the $22,470.60 and minused it of the $26,403, which is what the total system is minus the Crew Plus discount. The difference here of $43.56.18 is actually a discount for paying cash and not financing. So that leaves me a total of $22,047.60, and now I have a $6,614.28 ITC 30% tax credit. Now, before I take that tax credit off, if I take my $22,047.60 and divide that by the kilowatt hours or the kilowatt of the system, I come up to $3.17. After I take off the 30%, which is $66.14.28, I come up with a total of $15,433.32. Divide that out by the kilowatt, and I come up with $2.22 per watt installed. My question is, where are we supposed to see a price for cash in Florida of $2.70, which is what it's supposed to be, at $3 per watt installed as a cash deal per GeoStellar, and then we have our 30-cent discount, which would make it $2.70, and I can't come up with $2.70 anywhere on this proposal. And I'm trying to figure out why not. How do I explain this to a customer and I can't tell them what I actually have that I'm supposed to have here from GeoStellar?
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Hey, if you
Oh, hang on. Everybody that's not talking, if you could please mute yourself.
I think we got somebody on a phone call with a 267 area code that just came on. We're glad to have you on, but you kind of got a little background noise.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was me.
That's fine. If you could just mute yourself. There you go. That'll work great.
Awesome.
Hey, Michael, you should be able to, if you hit screen share, we'll be able to see what's on your computer screen.
Okay.
And we might be able to, and I've told Jenny and a couple others before, this is the reason I like Zoom, is because we can share the screen, and like if you do a screen share, we can see what's on your screen, and we can turn around and maybe show you where we might be missing or where you might need to go, and we'll be able to see it and guide you through it. Because I've helped Steve over there when he was trying to put something in, and I said, look, Steve, share your screen. Now I can see it. And I'm like, no, go down a little more. Yeah, that one. And then click there, and then that's what I was able to help him understand a lot.
All right, give me just a minute. I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah, it should say screen share toward the bottom, and it should pop it up, and then we'll all be able to see, and then we might be able to.
Mike, if it's
Okay.
not on the bottom, since you Now the co-host, it may be up at the top. It's going to be where your chat stuff is.
Okay.
Check there and see if it's
Yeah, I got
possibly
it.
there. Okay.
And if y'all bear with us a second, because once he shares, it may take a minute for it to sync up with everybody else too. But see, that way we might be able to see what you're looking at, and we might be able to see something that you might be overlooking, just simple oversight.
I got you. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, yes, there it is.
Okay, let me,
Okay. Have you applied your Crew Plus
yes,
promotion code yet?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, give me just one second. I gotta close this out, or gotta close you guys out so I can find my button here.
Yeah, you should be able to minimize us and minimize a lot and give you a lot more of your screen. We just won't be in your way.
Yeah. Okay, view estimate. That's what it was. The screen was right over it. All right, give me a second. It's coming up. Okay, let me make this a little bigger. Okay.
Now, what are you trying to do? You're trying to show them the comparison.
Okay. No, what I'm trying to do is figure out if we're supposed to be at 270 per watt installed, how are they computing that? How does that number work out? Because I can't get it to work out. Right here where my cursor's at, we have a total installed cost of $28,491.78. You see that right here?
Where are you coming up with the 270 installed, Mike?
Well, when I talked with GeoStellar a couple of weeks ago, I talked with, forget who it was, I believe it was Robert, and I had already previously had this conversation with Alex as far as the $3. The $3 came from, that is the cash price for GeoStellar if you pay cash or if you do a PACE financing. On this, not on this particular one, but on another one, actually the brother of this guy, one of my partners, we got to put a roof on. This one here, I don't know the status of the roof. The roof has a stain on it, on the front part of it, but it's a rolled composition roof. It's not asphalt shingles, it's asphalt roll. Like a torch down roof, I guess is what they're calling it now, because they're on an island here. This is on Little Gasparilla Island. There is no road to the island. You have to go by ferry, boat, or barge. And my question here is, the 270 then, Alex said a cash deal was $3 and our 30 cent per watt came off of that, which would make it $2.70. I also asked the same thing and verified that with Robert at GeoStellar 2 weeks ago, and he said yes. I then called the installer for Tampa to find out, and he also agreed with me, yes, he is the installer for GeoStellar. He's the installer for our commercials in this area with Solar Site Design. He is PACE approved. He is Y Green Energy Fund approved, and he's the dividend installer as well. So what I'm trying to do is figure out if I'm telling my customer I can get it for $270 and he goes dividing these prices out, nowhere in here is he going to see $2.70 until after you take off that 30% and all the other deductions and you divide the $15,433.32, which is right here, your net installed cost. If you divide that by the size of the system, which is
24 panels.
Yeah, 6.96 kW. So you got 6,960 watts. You divide that out, and you come out with $2.22.
What size system again?
6.96.
696. Okay, $2.21. You're correct.
Yeah. So
Okay.
my question is, so when we're talking 270 and my price coming in after cash and after the crew discount and after the cash discount, but prior to the 30% ITC, I am at 22,000. This figure over here, the cash down payment, $22,047.60. If you divide that out by the 69.60 or whatever that amount is up there, it comes out to $3.17, which is 47 cents more than the 270 we've been told we have for a price. Now, I understand I'm including already that $2,088. Maybe that's where part of that is, but if that's only 30 cents per watt, and that is exactly what that calculates at, that $2,088, then something's off because we're
Okay.
still at $3.17 versus $3.
First
If I
of all-
put that back.
First of all, one of the main things you want to do is tell them what the price per watt is,
Okay.
because everything's always different, whether it's a ground mount and so on.
Oh, sure, sure.
Yeah, and I understand that, Mike. But one thing that I want, what you want to look at is it comes down to $2.21 after any incentive and everything, and they may be looking at that aspect of this is what the price is going to be. It starts out at this and moves down. Granted, there's a lot of changes going on. I'm going up to meet Rob, and I think David Levine's going to be with him next Thursday in Dallas. And Jeremy and I were talking about this, is to sit and talk about the pricing in some of the areas, some of the states and areas where there's not the incentives to say, what can we do? I understand people are going to be buying it. They're going to own it. It's like a car. As soon as you drive it off the lot, the car is devalued and stuff like that. But the price per watt, one thing, unless they specifically ask you for the watt, I do not give them a price per watt. I get their information. I put it in. I say, here's what we're looking at the system's going to cost. You get the crew discount and this and that. And they go, okay, great. Because if you give them a price per watt, it may be different in a certain area. It may be different with an installer.
Sure. Okay, well, I understand all that, but
Yeah.
my question is, why are we being told it's 270 and I can't get 270 out of this? And
Well,
unless I've been explaining this wrong, and I'm supposed to include that federal tax credit being taken out, and then that gives them their price of per watt.
And
But
that's
I don't normally sell it by the per watt. What I'm trying to do is simply make sure they've got the right price in here, and I can't see the right price in here.
And I have never asked them what their price is per watt dealing with different areas. I've sat and figured up different jobs that I put in myself and figured up the wattage myself. It's not like dividend where we actually have the graph where you used to have to design the amount of panels and stuff like that.
Right.
With GeoStellar, I've never specifically asked them per watt. I'd like to know, and I want to find out there's a possibility that we can do it. But I think a lot of it has to deal with the independent installers in an area that it might be higher here in this county, may not be higher over here, or so on. And I think we can get into a mix of, we start getting the installers fighting over each other and stuff, which is good. It can become a bidding breakdown, which is better for the customer. But the 270, Mike, I truly think everything is based on everything before the incentives.
Well, that's what I thought too. And if you look at it that way, I'm at $4.04. So, I mean, it's just like way out in left field is basically what I'm trying to say. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I'm having to explain this. And when we had a conversation with Jacqueline Milburn in California, probably a month and a half ago, she specifically stated that she had to go round and round with GeoStellar in California for the prices they told her they were going to give her, but weren't being reflected on the proposal. And the reason I'm asking this is because he's gotten a proposal for $15,000 minus his tax credit, and it comes out to $10,000 and something, and I'm at $5,000 more than they are. And when I start figuring and calculating this and looking at it, I'm going, okay, well, why am I at 370 or 409? I mean, 317 or 409 instead of 270 like I've been told we were at. And I took into account the installer, physically called him and verified the 270 was going to work. And he said, yeah, no problem, man, that works.
Okay.
So that's my question. I don't understand why there's so many differences. And if that's what it is, we're not all plugged in and dialed in. I understand that. That's okay. And we
Right.
can work with that. But
Mhm.
we should have this figured out by now, because I've never gone to anybody and told them, after all your incentives and all your taxes,
Exactly.
this is what it's going to be. This is what your bottom line net cost
Yeah.
is going to be. I've never done that.
Okay.
Never had to do that.
Right. I mean,
But
hey,
now I'm kind of looking like, do I really have to do this or check each and every one of these out? Because,
Right.
it's not right.
well, see, that's something that Lane and me were discussing earlier today, and believe me, he's been ping-ponging, and I'm like, hey, I worked my tail off. All right, I got done. I can kind of get out of sight, and I can tinker and try and run some proposals now. The one thing is, that's something that I'd mentioned this before, where we dealt with dividend and now we're dealing with GeoStellar. What we're looking at, though, is they're having to fine tune and to bear in mind for them, hey, this works great. California, the Northeast, they get incentives, blah, blah, blah. Everything's hunky-dory. Here in the central country and what I call the real world, it don't work. And the numbers will work, but it doesn't work like they think it does over there.
Right.
And, and I've had this little scenario, and like I said, I've got a guy in Alabama, Steve Rattery. He's got somebody in Florida that wants it. They own their home outright. They don't owe on their home, and they got turned down. They had somebody else that, he's got like 2 other people that want it, but they want $6,000, $7,000, or $14,000 down. I'm like, why? And I asked with GeoStellar, and I asked why. I said, well, we have a cap on the loan limit. Anything beyond that, they would have to pay down so we can keep that price. I'm like, we need to give these people loan options that they can afford to pay. They don't need to take out a loan so that they can pay down so that they can have their payment to be what it should be. And the thing is, it's not that GeoStellar is doing anything wrong, but it's a learning curve for them. And Rob has brought out before, they're used to people. Here's a customer, they want it. Boom. All right, I'll tend to it from here. Well, the thing is, they're not used to people like us going, hey, this is supposed to be this price, and the 30 cents off, it's supposed to be this price. Like, but your computer says one thing, but your computer's not accounting for here. That's like Lane and me were talking about for here. We are in AEP SWEPCO. Okay, they cover a big chunk of Texas. But in our area, those incentives don't apply. But their software keeps wanting to kick it. I can't send a potential customer to my site with GeoStellar and let them put in to see what they're looking at, because it's going to say $15,000 incentive, and they're going to want you to pay down. And it's just simply put, it's a bigger learning curve than in my opinion, than they were anticipating.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
to give you an update on that, I talked with
Yes.
Jennifer today in the tech support technical area. They know the glitch is there, and they're trying to fix it. They've set it up, and it keeps going back. So she apologized and wanted to let us know we understand it's there. Something in the software with the servers, they're trying to get that straightened up so it doesn't keep coming up or anything in other areas. And that's what we're saying. There's some glitches. Mike, the only thing I could say, the best thing to do is get with one of your salespeople in your thing and go over it with them, because they're willing to work with us and say, hey, look, it's supposed to be this amount. And they will get in and they'll straighten it up, because there may be some glitches or stops or hiccups in the software. And they want to actually people to let you know, they want to know about it so they can fix them. So,
Sure.
And then if it happens again, you let them know. It's like Jeremy and I had this problem in January with the $15,000 incentive for AEP. And she goes, yeah, we removed that. And I goes, well, we keep getting it and it keeps coming back. She goes, yeah, we know. We're noticing this. We're trying to figure out what the problem is. But if anybody's dealt with designing with software or web pages like I have, I explained to Jenny, I said, look, I understand, or Jennifer up there in Geo, I said, I know when you type in the HITMAL code and you miss a letter, say you put a Q instead of or a P instead of a Q, it messes it all up. And you might have to go try and find out through all the codes what's going on. And they say, okay, we got it reset, and then it goes back. It glitches back. But if we keep letting them know, they will work on it, Mike. All I can say is just let them know, hey, look, this is coming up here. I know it's frustrating right now, but things are getting better, and they're working on them, and they're willing to listen to us and work them. That's what's important versus someone to just say, yeah, okay, we're working on it. No, they're really trying to work on it, and they said, look, if you got any people that are having problems, have them get with us. Let us know. And that's not so much that's for sales for your pricing, but if there's a glitch that seems to be coming back, that's where you get with the support aspect. Okay, people, sales is one thing, support's different. Support's dealing with the technical aspects. Sales is dealing with your customers and what's going on in your pricing. I had to call sales today. I got with Jenny by accident through support and technical instead of sales, because I have someone that needs a ground mount, and I had to get with someone. Ended up dealing with Kelly, and he was going to put me together a ground mount system and a phase 1 battery backup. Jenny, I let her know about the $15,000 incentive through AEP that's not supposed to be there, even though I checked on it like we were doing in the past, and it put a line through the amount and got rid of it. It was still holding there. So I had a customer go and look at it and back up. So I put all the information in, and he wanted to look at it. And he actually went and looked at it and saw this. And he goes, I'm just curious about this. And I had explained to him, okay, your total system cost after ITC credit stuff, we need to add $15,000 back into it, because that's an incentive as far as we know in this area you're not getting. There's a small glitch in the software. I'm sorry about it. I've already talked to technical, and they understood. And he was very gracious, and he understood. I said, look, I'm sorry about it, but this is happening. I said, the new software is supposed to be coming out June 5th or 15th. And I said, there's still some issues in there. I said, but I wanted to get you the information. I talked to tech support, and they are working on that. This is where we're going to be. And he goes, okay, great. So that's the best thing you can do, is to give them information and pass it along.
All right, and and right as you say that, give them information and pass it along. This is what I just wrote down at the bottom of this: remote location coordinates. This particular location has an address through the tax assessor's office, but it's a lot number on Little Gasparilla Island, so it does not come up. Period. You can't get it to load.
Okay.
So I sent a chat to that today. And they told me to, and this is the coordinates of it here, 26.83711, and then you put a comma, and I had originally put a space dash 82 point because they're latitude and longitude, and they told me no, just put the comma and no space, and as soon as I did that, it popped up like no problem at all.
Excellent.
But just so that for future reference, because I'm sure. Hopefully, I'm going to get another 30 or 40 off of this island anyway. So I think I got a couple of hundred houses there, and he's already told me he's got like 40 people that were ready. So we'll see.
Yeah, there's two things I want to really point out right here, real quick, real simple things. All right, first of all, a lot of y'all that have been there with me on the call before, I usually had trees in the background. I've moved to Longview. I can get to Lane's house in 10 minutes. Okay. The thing is, I'm in an apartment now. Now, the thing is do what? I moved to an apartment.
You're the head of it.
Now, I'm getting you.
Everybody mute.
But the thing is,
Boss.
if I have a problem, I let them know. I let the landlady know, said, hey, look, I'm having this problem. And the thing is, and like, oh, I didn't know you're having that problem. Well, let me tend to that. We'll get that taken care of, whatever. But the thing is, there's two ways. First of all, let them know. And like Michael brought out, hey, you don't do the space, do the comma. And the thing is, you'll find out what you need to know so you can do it correctly. They'll help you tweak it out. But number two, this is a big factor. There's two ways to close a door. You can slam it or you can close it. If you're in traffic, if you're sitting at the green light and the red light turns green, are you more upset by somebody going beep? Oh crap, green light's green, or you like the, you know, how you present it to somebody is going to determine how they're going to work with you. So you work with them, let them know a little problem you got. Hey, you know, the more cooperative you are, the more cooperative they'll be with you, and the more they'll work with you. So, you know, just bear in mind there's stuff they don't know is going on, and if they don't know about it, they can't fix it. So that was my 2 cents on that one. Now everybody's quiet and I'm all alone.
No, I can share something. Now it's still there, but there's a glitch in the system, and I mentioned this before, in my GeoStellar console. It says that I created the particular profile for this customer in Texas, a friend of mine, but it was referred by Jacqueline Milburn. And I called him up and said, listen, Jacqueline's not getting my credit. No, I didn't know what that meant. So Jennifer, who you talked to, Lane, she said, okay, let's set up a time to have an Uber conference. Well, it's the first I heard of that. You know, I know about Uber cars, but
Yeah,
so we had, she emailed me a link and we shared a screen. And what she did was she took an actual screenshot of that glitch in the console. And ironically, they were in the office working on that at the time. Well, I don't know. It's been a little bit of time that has passed, so I don't know if they've figured it out yet, but it still says Jacqueline on there. I love Jacqueline. She's great. I just want to see my name on that.
Yeah, but you did the work. You want to make the money, not Jacqueline.
Well, I mean, I haven't done a lot yet, but it's, you know, it might be a little confusing if it's, yeah.
Well, a good thing to do, just simply ask, I'm still having that, have we found the cause of the problem? Is there any way to correct it yet? You know, and Lane's putting on the chat for the tech support for Geo.
Yeah.
Yes,
and they're really nice. They are just super. Yeah. They want to help you. They lead with their heart.
And the thing is, like I said, y'all got to understand, they were expecting, you know, hey, the usual, and then we turned around, you know, the way I think about it is, it's like me taking my kids to the beach. They hadn't been there to the beach yet, and they're expecting waves around their belly and chest, and then we turn around, come in, and knock people are 7 foot tall. We knock them on their tail, you know. They just were not expecting the tidal wave that we brought in, you know. So just bear in mind, it was more than they were anticipating. So, you know, that we were a little sluggish at first, but once we figured out what they wanted, like, oh, okay, so that's all. Okay, here, boom, boom, boom. Like, oh, crud, what the heck just happened? You know, so they weren't anticipating the sales force that we're able to do. And that's the one thing Lane and me talked about, and that's why we want to talk with Rob and we want to talk with David Levine. You know, they have a price cap on their loans. Like I said, Steve Rattery's got 2 people, and they'd be interested in doing it. Price-wise work out, but they want like $7,000 or $10,000 down. I'm like, I'm not getting a loan so I can get another loan, you know. And we need to talk with them about, hey, look, Northeast, that may be an average price. Down here, it's not. Down here in Texas, they run air conditioners. It's humid, muggy, you know. So I've literally when I went and got my wife back from Mexico, me and my brother used to 85 degrees. We'd be sopping wet. We went to Mexico. We were in Juarez, and it was 105. Me and my brother kicked back. Like, man, it ain't even hot out here. You could feel the heat, but we were dry. The humidity factor was different. So here in Texas and in the South and so forth, people run their air conditioners more than they do up north. You know, the humidity just changes the feel of the atmosphere. You know, so you're going to consume a lot more power trying to be comfortable down here than you are up north. So yeah, we're going to consume a little more power to be comfortable, versus up there. So, you know, hey, we may need a, Lane, I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of them that have ranged from 48 to 56,000 for a system, and they want like 14 or 15, $16,000 down. We only finance 40,000 or 50,000. So the customer's going to have to come up with the other, like, no, I'm not paying that $10,000 down just to get it. You know, and that's something that we've got to really present to Rob and David for them to be aware of down here. This, you really want to move it? Let's move it. This is a little hurdle we're having. Let's address it. And the thing is, if we argue with them, where's that going to get us? But if we present the problem we're having, how can we fix it?
Another thing is to let you know along that lines, everybody, where that situation seems to be going. Jeremy, I'll talk with you on this, but I'm not sure right there. A lot of that has to do with the actual pricing of kilowatt per hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's like right now, here it's coming up, 8 cents around here, but with all the fees and everything, you need to ratchet it up to 12 cents. It becomes more viable that way. And I'm not saying that everything along that lines is having what they're dealing, and I've put in a couple from different states and information, and there's a site, and I was looking for it. I was hoping I could bring it up for y'all tonight, but I can't find it. I think it's on my desktop in there. But there is a national average per kilowatt hour. It's showing Texas the average is 8 cents. In our area, that's showing comparable with what's coming up on our bills. But when you start factoring in all the fees, transmission fees and stuff like that, it totals out to 12 cents. That's where you will need to go in and you need to change it. It's a learning curve. Now, if you have the actual bill, that's where you can input the bill and send it to them. And I was talking with Kelly today, not Jennifer, but Kelly on the sales aspect. And to let you know, they will change whatever we need done as crew members for your pre-assessment, just by the address, stuff like that. But if you want them to try and get with the customer and talk with them and walk through, like, say, the battery backups or this or that or this or ground mounts and stuff, they will do it, but they will not call the customer until they have a bill if you need help. They will contact you as a solar pro, but they will not reach out to the customer themselves. Like, say you need help, say, hey, can you call them? They will not do that until they have 12 months bills. Okay, I'm giving everybody a heads up on that. I talked to Kelly.
I didn't even know that one yet.
Yeah. And
Lane, when you say 12 months bill, I assume 1 month, which actually shows the full 12 months. Is that what you mean?
yes, yeah, that's actually what I mean. He said, as Kelly said, which a bill I got yesterday, and one I have here, on a circle bill, but a bill I got yesterday for out, I forget what it was. If it has a graph on there and it shows the last year's usage, that's fine. If it does not show that, the customer needs to get you at least 12 months bills, and they can easily go online or contact them, and the utility will get it to them. But and you don't need that if you're just trying to get a pre-assessment. And you need to understand, this is just a pre-assessment. This is just based on averaging for that area and the size of a house. And say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, they're probably basing that on 2 kids and 2 adults. Okay, there may be 7 or 8 adults, or like 100 in my house with the grandkids and everything going on and stuff like that. But they're basing on the average. If there really gets down to the nuts and bolts, say, look, this is just a pre-assessment. This is, hey, we like this, we want to move forward. Or, and they might be like, I said, look, if you like what you see so far, or it's really interesting, give me something with 12 months bills. Let us actually put it in. And then from there, if you're not sure on your end of talking, let Gio Stellar and them over there talk. Kelly, Zach, on the sales aspect. They've dealt with customers before. They can answer any questions. They can They can deal in that. And if you don't feel comfortable yourself, believe me, they will help you on the technical aspects with the software and doing stuff like that. That's Alex and Jennifer over there right now. But and there's another guy I think his name's JD. I think I talked to him this morning also. So there's a lot of aspects. And they're willing to help us in any way that we can. They love us over there. And every time I talk to them, I thank them so much for what they've done and what they're doing and stuff like that. And they are eager to help us because they're realizing Crew as a force, we're learning and trying to teach ourselves and pass it along. So there's not so much burden on them. And that's where we need to head with that. But along the lines, like Jeremy's saying, the kilowatt per hour might be different when you total it up. Getting just the 1 month bill and looking at it, you can see the kilowatt hours here, previous last month and this month. You can take that and divide it, and you get a rough figure dividing into the numbers into the overall bill. But you want the overall bill. You don't want just the energy charge. You want the overall bill minus the taxes and put it into there, because that's going to give you your overall. And it might be showing on your end 7 cents. But by the time you figure up the per kilowatt hours overall for the month divided by the actual bill, it may come up 12, or let me put it this way, it may come up 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 cents. And when you change that in your pre-assessment and move it up, and when you go back and you look at what their average monthly bill is, it might start out at $111. And by the time you move that up, that kilowatt per hours, you're like, okay, they're going to use this much, but the charge per kilowatt hour, charge per watt, when you get done, it may show when you move it up from 7 cents to 12 cents, you might go, well, their average bill is $120 a month, and it's showing $111. All of a sudden, it shoots up to $130 a month, and all of a sudden, you go from 76% on their solar panels to 92%. It makes that much of a difference. And that's where you got to understand, this is just a pre-assessment effort, just using the address, just using the average bill and the utility company. Where the true numbers really come together is when you get the actual bill, put it in. If you have any questions about something, you can contact them over there. They will help and walk you through it or ask you questions on their end. They may not know something. Look at all the utility companies across the country. They're still learning on their end everything that's going on in the software and updating and stuff like that. And that's what we're talking about tonight, is along the residential and community solar, and people asking about Tesla solar panels or roof tiles and stuff like that. Number one thing, folks, deal with the residential to start. This is where you're going to make your money. This is where you're going to help customers, your friends and family. You're going to make a living. You'll be able to go full-time into it. You'll be able to do what you passionately are doing right now, part-time, and love. You'll be able to do this full-time. You'll love it. And that's where you need to start. Then commercial can move into community solar. I wish I was in community solar right now. We got so much blank areas around here, space around this town. I would love to go out and buy some land, tons of land right now, and start putting in community solar. It's viable. We have to deal with the utilities, but it's not where I'm going right now. I'm dealing with residential and some of the commercial aspects. And that's where you need to be and starting, especially anybody that you get in that's starting out in Crew. Help them move towards the residential, because I guarantee you, once they start getting in that paycheck, and if they get in the co-op and they start getting stuff from the co-op and stuff, they're going to be so excited. They're going to bombard you with, hey, I need help here. I need help here. I need help here. And that's going to fire you up to continue doing what you were fired up when you first got in. All right.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if y'all know that I started in network marketing with a different company. This isn't network marketing. I'm aware of that. I put that on the back burner, but I understand how important it is to duplicate. And, I think it's safe to say that I can speak for a lot of people in that getting that first solar sale is so important. And a lot of people, and I, even myself, feel like we kind of need a little help getting through the first one. And like when Michael shared his screen, that was wonderful. Thank you, Michael. Because, you know, now I know, God bless you guys for being selfless givers. That's what Robert said, and that's so sweet of you. We really appreciate it, all of you. But thank you so much, Lane and Jeremy, for, you know, taking this time, because I mean, obviously we've gone over an hour, but I don't know if Rob is still going to be doing it into the next month, but he said, hey, you know, if you guys want to make an appointment with me on my calendar, you know, I can help you close. Well, that's really kind of him to offer that, but I think some of us need a little help with just getting the actual getting the lead in, and getting to that point where we're like, okay, now it's a walkthrough. Some people just need to walk through the process with someone who's already done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Jenny, that's what Jeremy and I, and thank you. But let me pass along, and I know Jeremy along this line, is thank you all for being on here.
Yes.
You know, it's not us. We thank you for being on here. You're interested in learning stuff like that, and that's something that we ran across right early. And I know Rob has stated they want to do testing stuff like that, but it's a hands-on, and it's where the person, and I don't say the upline, it's your partner that got you and your sponsor. They're there. They should be there to be able to help you. Not all of them know. A lot of sponsors. We get a lot of folks coming in, contacting us from nowhere. What you need to do is and I wish we could reach out to everyone, and you can reach out to me, because you know I'm glad to help, and Jeremy's glad to help, and even everybody on this call is. Your first one is the most important, as you said, Jenny. If you're not sure, I'm not trying to take anything away from you or anybody else, but if you're not sure, reach out to someone you know that can help, that your person that's gotten in, your partner that you sponsored. Reach out to someone that can help them put it in, walk them through it. If they need be able to talk to the customer after they did, or walk them through the proposal, the PDF, before it gets to the customer. And unfortunately, there's a lot of folks that aren't able to do that right now with us. And I know Rob is frustrated with that, believe me. Knowing Rob, he is. And that's why one reason Jeremy and I have decided we've reached out over the last year to do stuff like this, just basic 101, just talking to people like to you and Karen, and you're able to raise your hand and say, hey, I'm wondering about this. And let me tell you one thing, no question is too stupid.
And I've asked plenty of them, I promise.
No question is too stupid or too minimal on this chat. That's what this is about. And to help you walk through. And you can ask Jeremy, and I know even Jeremy can do it now. I can walk through people through in my sleep doing stuff, just typing. Until I don't even have to be on my screen. I can tell you, okay, go here and do this and do this. Go here and do this and do this. And that comes along the lines as you become more educated yourself in doing stuff, you will pick this up. But for the first start, for someone just getting in, that you may not know as much yourself, because you may be working on your first one. And hey, I got so-and-so, oh, I want to join. Bam. You're like, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? Oh. And a lot of people don't want to watch videos. They don't want to read. They don't want to do stuff like that. But inputting a customer is very simple. And that's what we're here to do, is help in that aspect. So
and I think, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing right now, because and again, I hope that it's safe for me to speak for other people. Some people, a lot of people, just, it's difficult for them to ask for help. And so then they get frustrated and they just quit.
Yes.
And that's not what they want to do, because they're so passionate about this.
Yeah.
And so, part of being a team leader is being willing to ask questions like you are with us. Thank you. And being able to determine, what kind of help they need. You don't know. Some people won't give that to you voluntarily. Sometimes you have to pull it out of them. But, it doesn't mean they're any less passionate. And so, at the end of, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but Jeremy and I and Karen were talking, and, people have different skill sets and people learn differently. It's very important to identify how they learn so that they know, like, there's different ways of learning. Like, we're doing a live Zoom. You've got, people like to just on their own time watch a video. Some people want to be walked through it with another person that's, already knows how to do it. But see, they're afraid to ask. And,
and as of last
we have to
night,
be able to duplicate, because if they're not trained to do it the right way and feel confident about it, then they cannot take on a new crew member and be able to teach them. You have to have duplication.
And listening to what Rob stated last night, where he's talking about the core group, the advisory group, they're talking about putting something together, not just them doing it, but trying to figure out something together for training.
Yeah.
For overall simplicity, just the simplistic things. And I know it's frustrating them because you have members that are that have gotten in on software's changing and stuff, and I teach, I contact them, I talk to them, I say, hey, this changed now, and they're like, oh. But it's like Rob has always said, if you're not willing to deal with the first hacking through the woods, and then the trailblazers, and then dirt road and stuff like that, then you need to wait a year. You need to wait and get in. But people are, as you said, Jenny, are so passionate, and they get in, they're excited, and blah, blah. They're like, well, how do I do this? How do I do this? Well, I don't know. Their sponsor, their partner may not be sure themselves. And unfortunately, I can't reach out to everybody.
I know.
And I want to help everybody, because the passion that I know Rob has, the passion dealing with Jeremy over here and stuff that we know and have, it's out there. It's exciting. And you get that first solar sale, and it's like Rob always says, woohoo! It's there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people need to make money.
Yeah.
People need to start making money. They've got to get that first residential.
Yes.
Once they start making money, they get more motivation.
Yes.
I had an idea, and I wanted to see what y'all thought about it. Originally when Lane and me started doing this, like I said, we were dealing with dividend. I mean, figuring out what size system, come up with a formula so you knew what size system you needed. And GeoStellar's come along and taken care of a lot of that, and then we went through the steps showing people how to put it in. And I think what we've ran across is a lot of times we'd have our regular ones that were usually on the call almost every week, and instead of going over it over and over and over again because they've kind of already seen it, they're like, well, what's the next step, But then we'd have new people that were kind of lost. And I think what might be a good idea is if anybody, and you can reach out to anybody in your group or whichever, what we might try and do, and this isn't just an idea I had, if anybody has, especially a first sale, that would like to put it in, let us know, and we will do the whole call from the get-go. Let us know ahead of time, and we'll, say, look, you need to have this, you need to have this, this, and this, and we will go through it. We will let you do it, and we will guide you on the step. And that way, you know what, you screw up your boo-boo, guess what? You showed everybody else what not to do so that they'll know not to do it too. It's not to put you down. It's to show everybody, oh, well, let's not do this. Let's do that. And let's change this to this. And show them why. It's good to do a walkthrough. And it's, like I said, I've done it with my guys in Alabama, and Steve has done a great job vacuum cleaner sales. He knows how to talk to people, but inputting stuff in the computer wasn't his skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And now Steve can turn around and put it in.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it was like Jenny mentioned, going through, walking them step by step, and I've walked him through, getting some of them through, and it got to the point I just kind of sat back. I'm like, well, as soon as you get to a point you need a hand, let me know. I'm going to watch. I'm going to see if you know, like, oh, don't forget that. Oh, yeah, I forgot that. You know, the thing is.
It's like training wheels on the bike.
Yeah, but the
Right,
thing is,
Dad?
the more you do it, the less you need it. Repetition. But hey, believe me, I can deal with training wheels now. I'll tell you. But no, in all seriousness, though, if somebody has a customer to put in, you know, we've kind of stepped back from it because we've had some of the same people over and over again. And, you know, we're trying to answer any other questions, but nobody else is having any questions, you know, so we're trying to do an overall coverage. But, you know, like I said, if somebody has a customer they want to put in and say, for example, Joyce, all right, for example, say she's got a customer she wants to put in. And I mean, from what I can tell, Karen and Joyce, you know, they seem to be pretty smart and good to go on it. But I'm just using, for example, say, hey, I want to put it in. Or somebody that hadn't got on a call before, they want to put it in. Hey, let's go through. Let's do a screen share like Michael did a while ago. Let's see what we're doing. Let's walk through the steps.
Speaking of, I said, speaking of,
Go for it, Michael.
I put a screen
man.
share up here specifically talking about what Lane said earlier. If you look at the first kilowatt hours, the first 1,000 kilowatt hours, they're 6.933 cents. If you look at the next 1,000, it's 8.349 cents. So you're thinking you got a 6, 7 cent, 8 cent per watt. But when I take this 33.89, oops, I'm sorry, I lost my solar calculator.
Wait a minute.
When I take the 3.89 and I divide it by the total kilowatt hours, which is 26.94, I come up with 12.39 cents, 0.1239, instead of the 6 or 7 and 8 cents you see here. So you really got to take this total amount and divide it by that total kilowatt hours, and that is what you are paying, regardless of what is in print anywhere on any of these sites telling you what they are. This is what you pay, and that is what you're using. So obviously the 12.4, I guess it would be 124 cents.
So now-
not quite 12.5 cents, but pretty close to it, versus 7 to 8 cents you're seeing here.
Can you once again, Michael? I'm sorry.
Let's see,
okay,
that's
Jamie.
what this is for.
It's okay,
So you
Jamie.
take
Bring this up.
333
Okay. You take the total amount of the bill. Okay.
total bill.
That's the total bill. And you divide it by the total kilowatt hours for that month, which is 26.94 here on the left with your meter reading. It also says it here. You have your first 1,000 kilowatt hours at 6.933 cents.
That's
You
your
have the
energy.
next 1,000, and then you have your fuel charges below. Look, you got
So when you-
3.377 cents. You got 4.377 for anything above 1,000, and then you have an asset security charge. I haven't seen that one, so I'm not quite sure what that is. But you know, this
I'm
is
gonna take a
Duke.
stick to you.
Yeah, this is Duke Energy, and they have been charging, just so you guys have an idea about this, they have been charging the customers. Duke Energy actually purchased Progress Energy back, I don't know, 2006, 2008, 2010, somewhere in there. I don't know. Anyway, they proposed to build a new nuclear facility in Levy County, the next county north of us, because we have a major problem and our nuclear power plant has been shut down for years because of some cracks when they were trying to do some modifications. They cracked them. And so we've been sitting here powerless, although they're still sucking up millions of gallons of water a day to keep those spent rods cold or cool. And we're not getting any power usage. So Duke Energy came along, bought out Florida Power, or Progress Energy. Then they charged a surcharge for people to build the new plant. They have now passed on almost $1 billion in default to the consumer because they are not going to build that plant, and they are now repurposing the Crystal River nuclear plant into a gas plant, which they're telling everybody here it's being fed by the pipeline, which in fact they do have a line running through it, the DAPL line, but I seriously don't think it has anything to do with the energy plant there. I believe they're taking it to their facility, their loading port, where a bunch of big ships can come in and load and unload. And I'm almost positive that stuff's getting sent out of state, as it is on the East Coast in Brevard County and Cape Canaveral, there where Ray's at. They're doing the same thing there, and they're doing the same thing in South Florida. In any event, they keep telling us that, oh, it's coming here, it's what's going to be used for our power plants, when in fact it's not. But my point to this conversation was they are charging us to build their plant, and then they are charging us to downsize and demolish that plan to the tune of another $1 billion for a bad decision these jerks have made. And it's time for people to wake up, man. You start showing them this, oh, yeah, we're only paying 7 cents to Duke Energy. Bull. You're paying over double that.
Michael, that's it. In Alabama, that's what I call simplistic redneck math. You can hit algebra form all you want to. I take the total bill divided by how many kilowatts, and that's what I'm paying.
That's it. That's exactly it. Now, when I showed you the one earlier from Little Gasparilla Island, they actually showed, I believe it was 10.1 cents per kilowatt hour with Florida Power and Light. And I worked for Florida Power and Light for over 9 years as a pad mount safety transformer inspector for the environmental portion as a subcontractor. And I know for a fact Florida Power and Light is one of the most expensive power companies in the state of Florida, and we have several. And so I actually raised it up. My buddy Bill on Little Gasparilla Island told me my average monthly payment is $1.25, $125 a month. So I plugged in that 13 cents instead of the 10 point whatever that GeoStellar showed me that they had. And I actually came up with an average electric bill that it would take care of 97%, and the average would be $124 a month. So when I tell you this is truly what it is, you can see from his bill at $125, now not this bill here, but the bill that I turned in today for the island. When I say it's 125 and it comes up, when I adjust it to the price that I can divide it by, it comes up within $1 of what that average is. So it's very important to do this. It's very, very important to do it, because the proposal was coming the wrong way. It just wasn't showing up right. And they're wanting me to put on a lot more panels than they're saying I have the available roof space for. So, you know, once you start playing with them and adjusting them, there's definitely a lot to be in consideration.
Well, see, I mean, this is something that, you know, that I was getting at. Whenever we turn around, and like I said, if we got somebody that needs to put in a first bill, you know, we can turn around and show them, you know, like, take that bill, you know, email it to yourself, and let's go through and let's show it, you know, and post it and how to do it and put it in. But see, this is where you can, like what Michael's pointing out here, this is something that you can simply show your customer. You know, you say, hey, you're paying here, 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 and here. You know, I don't know about where you come, and I love this. I'm sorry, but I said, look, I'm from Alabama. I see the grand total of how much I use. I divide it that way. You know, so you know, you can throw all the fancy math you want, but I'm paying this price, and I'm using this much energy, so I'm paying this price per kilowatt hour, whatever. But you know, that's what I was saying. If anybody has something that if they want to go through, say, hey, look, I know it's still kind of, don't feel bad if it's your first one putting it through, go ahead. Hey, let's go through, let's walk through with you. And because oftentimes I've ran into the situation where somebody knows a lot about this, somebody knows a lot about that, but when they turn around and somebody new comes in, You're not just learning. See, I did upholstery. I did the last job. I learned from this guy. I learned from that guy, and I learned from that guy. Well, guess what I did? I took benefits and listened to different parts from everybody, and I found an easy way to understand it. So the more y'all learn, the more y'all experience, pass it along. You know, there's so much stuff. Actually, there's a lot of stuff I've learned from y'all. You know, I've learned a lot from Lane. I've learned a lot from Michael, Jenny, and, you know, Karen. A lot of y'all have brought in a lot of valuable information, and to y'all, it's nothing, but to someone else, it's something. So don't feel, you know, that you're not contributing. You know, y'all, everybody's brought up different key points, and it's something, the way I look at it is, it's a way to fine tune a machine. And that's the way we need to do it.
Hey, Jeremy, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got to take off, but I wanted to show you this last screenshot here. I met this guy Monday while I was working. I sent an email first thing this morning to him. He sent me, as you can see, the graphs, the bills. He actually either got online or he called them. I'm assuming he got online because I got copyrights on the bottom of these things for Duke Energy. So he probably just got online and screen shared them, or whatever he did. I don't know. But I want you to take a look at this, and the reason why I'm showing you this. You look over here, and we're talking 3,200 plus kW
Right.
in a month, okay? And pretty much around 2,000 and above for the majority of them. There might be 1 year is like 1,900. But the majority of them around here. So what I'm showing you is something that, this is a 2-story home. It's like 2,800 square feet, I think, off the top of my head. The reason I'm showing this is I would like everybody to ask Robert to please put in the super heavy duty Pure Power box into our shopping page. And also, we need to either have 1 or 2 choices. We need to have the heavy duty and the super heavy duty on these installs for GeoStellar, because a wire-in is only good for 1,000 kW or less. And in the training with SATIC and in the training with commercial, it shows that a SATIC actually says about 3,200 square feet the plug-in will handle. And that's kind of a misnomer. It depends on what all you have plugged in. For instance, I have a pool and a well and pump along with the house. My Pure Power box that I bought is not big enough to handle that. I have to get a heavy duty because I have a pool and whatnot. Now, if I was to put on solar, I would need the super heavy duty. And so we're not showing that super heavy duty anywhere. We don't show a price for it anywhere. And 90% of the people I'm looking at in Florida are going to have a super heavy duty if they're getting solar. And I personally am going to be like Tabitha. If they're not purchasing the super heavy duty or the heavy duty Pure Power box, I'm not going to be installing solar on their home. I don't want to contribute to something that I don't have to contribute to, but I have the ability to remove. And so I'm going to do it that way because I've been also doing a lot of research on EMFs and dirty energy and power and all that stuff. And I think it's very, very important that the super heavy duty and heavy duty are listed on there because it's going to make a price difference. And I don't want to have my customer come back and say, hey, you told me $450, now I'm getting charged $900. What's the deal? So, or $650, or whatever the case may be. I'm trying to avoid a problem.
So
I want you guys to see that this is an average household. This guy don't have no pool. Now, yes, he does have a well because he's in the country, but he has no pool. This guy, I talked to him on Monday. He spent an hour and a half with me at my job site while I explained this to him. He said, Mike, I've already been in to see your brother-in-law. He told me you're doing the solar thing. I want solar, period. I said, okay, I'll send you an email. I sent him an email this morning. And before this meeting, I looked and he had already sent it to me with these graphs his yearly, the other one is his yearly, what do you call it? His yearly consumption by month. And with the number of days, the date it was read. I mean, this is incredible. And I got to tell you, this is the first customer I've had do this. And right now I have 9 sitting in GeoStellar, and about 6 of them I'm waiting for power bills. So, you know, it's sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not. But this particular one is going to be a big deal. This is probably going to be, I'm probably thinking like 16 to 20 kW.
See, Michael, if that's going to be, if you're running into the situation, and I lived in Florida for a little bit before, a lot of them did use well water instead of city water. So, I mean, if that's a situation where you know that's a situation, hey, they're going to need more power. They got a pool. They're going to need more. That's something, and like I said, and this is what Lane, we're talking about, GeoStellar is still kind of new to it, and they're not used to us having this kind of, I would say knowledge, but I'm going to say thirst for knowledge to better be equipped to take care of our customer. They're not used to that. And, you know, we can turn around. I'd make a note in the comments, say, look, the Pure Power Box up to this level, we need the one that's available, but it's not listed here that covers this.
Right.
You know, I would put it in a note, say the power box that they're going to need we need the other one that's not listed to cover that.
Yeah.
Can we please accommodate that, because they're going to need a heavier grade system. They're going to need more of the industrial level for the amount of power they're consuming, because, and see, the thing is, like I said, they're not used to their salespeople being educated.
Yeah.
They're not used to it.
Well,
They're used to, hey, they got that, here, you do the rest. You know, they're just not used to people saying, hey, I want the best for my customer. You know, and it's kind of throwing them, but it lets them fine tune their system. They may turn around and start putting it in the system, making it available. But then they'll have to turn around and train other new people. Hey, this, you know, hey, if they're dealing with wells and swimming pools, you know, it'll be a education level from GeoStellar's side to, you know, for us and crew and so forth to train our people. But see, that's something that they're not necessarily aware of. They're used to, hey, this works, click, 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 boom, we're good. And it's not that there's anything wrong with them, but they're not aware of it. Let's make them aware of it, you know. So that's a good thing to point out. Let's point it out to them and just make them aware of it.
Yeah.
See, Lane, I already know that look on his face.
Yeah, it's that time, guys. I'm ready too. It's been a long, hot day.
Lane's
could I
got
make a
something
couple
on
of
his
quick
mind.
comments?
Yes.
Well, yeah. First, thank you, Michael, for bringing this up.
Yeah.
And I was not schooled in the distinction between the regular wire in and the super duper wire in.
Well, there's actually a wire in, a heavy duty wire in, and a super heavy duty wire in. So you have 3 of them.
Something I would
knew
love
there were
training
two. I
on
didn't know there were
and
two.
like to put into a manual of, here is the distinction. But yes, we can all start sending that information towards GeoStellar so they can get it. I just want to make a comment. So when you're talking about the way you were approaching the customer, I said at the very beginning of the call how much I enjoyed and appreciated the video that was posted this afternoon of Rob going through a proposal with one of Jomo's customers. It was his aunt, actually. And of the many things that I picked up between the lines is when he got to the part about the Pure Power Box, he raised the point of dirty energy, and he never said, we have this product, would you like to buy one? He just said, your system comes with,
Right.
and then he explained it, cleans it up. So the issue of asking them never comes up. So I'm going to re-listen to that part. I just really liked the way he presented it. It's a given that you get it. So anyway.
And it should be. It should be, really.
Yeah.
There's one thing I really, really want to point out. And a couple weeks ago, Lane and me mentioned it, and some of y'all got it off before I had a chance. I know Jenny was on, and I think Karen was. Y'all deserve a lot of commendation. Y'all are doing a good job. Look what everybody's bringing to the table. They're bringing out, you know, Michael pointing out that with a Pure Power box, Karen bringing out, pointing stuff out to the customer, Jenny bringing out, hey, you know, we need to go step by step, you know, let's, can we do that again? You know what? That's what everybody sees. There's something, a point we need to address. That's why I'm proud of y'all. That's why I'm glad y'all are on here. Everybody sees something where they can help somebody else. So that is what I really enjoy. And Landon, we've discussed this before. Everybody chiming in and learning from each other. Y'all have all heard the expression or the example of you tell somebody a word in one ear, they hear it and they tell it to the next person, he gets down the line. It's a whole different story. But when everybody sits in a group and says, no, it's this word. You know, it's like somebody trying to learn Spanish and they practice enunciating it. They get it together, they practice together, and they fine-tune it together. And that is why I'm glad to see y'all on here. You know, you're not just learning one thing or just pointing something out. Everybody's learning and pointing. You know, everybody is sharpening each other up. So, you know, y'all are doing a good job. And this is one of the times that Lane's been the most quiet on the call.
You're right. You're right.
He's deep in research.
Okay, I was already figuring this up. Now I'm gonna holler at y'all. I was figuring this up, and Joyce just asked me, her partner Robert. Okay, Mike, the bill you had up, the bill for the month was $333. If you looked at the bill on the lower left-hand side, and I got the computer up here, I've already got it in my head, folks, so believe me. Yeah, for the last month, it was 87 kilowatt hours. Below that, last year was 86 or 85. The average is 86. What, to make it plain and simple, to break it down, cost per kilowatt hour cents. $333 was the bill. And I'm not even dealing with the meters and the tax and all that. $333 was the bill, divided by 30 months. Most of the bills are based on 30 months. Don't worry about 29. Don't worry about 31. Don't worry about the average.
30 months or 30 days?
30 days.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So we got $333 was the bill, roughly, if I remember right. Divided by 30, we come up with 11.1. It showed the kilowatt hours on there for a day. Roughly 87, 85 average last year. You can do 86, okay?
Right.
Now, there might be a different way to figure out, but Mike, your bill actually happened to show it. So everybody look at this. Divided by 86. The average cost per kilowatt hour, or per watt of the thing, when, you know, we said in my area here, we were looking at 12 cents and stuff like that. So Mike, in your area, their average, they're spending 0.12906. So they're roughly spending 13 cents a kilowatt.
Yep.
Okay. Plain and simple math. No breaking up, going crazy, trying to figure out the bill and stuff. Keep it simple, people.
Redneck.
Okay. That's what you want to do. You can go into too much, overthink, and do stuff. I looked at the bill Mike put up, and Mike, I appreciate it. While y'all said, well, he's quiet, something's up, I was already figuring the numbers, and Joyce typed me in on a chat, and she said, Lane, Robert was asking this to her, one of the guys that she's with, and I said I was already working on it. And so it's plain and simple, and we'll do it again. The bill was $330, just rough, you know, it could be $335, whatever. Divided by 30 days, 11.1 divided by what it showed on Mike's bill. Your bill may not have it where you're at your utility, but they can always figure it out. You can get your own bill in your area, or if it's in your area, if you can ask someone there. And then it's divided by, it said 87 this month, kilowatt hours, 85 last year, average. Well, guess what? I split it. We did the average of 86. So they're roughly coming up with 13 cents. And that's where you can put it in. Okay. That's where you can put it in. When you're figuring your proposal, you can change that pricing. All right, people?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, folks. Anybody
All
got
right,
questions?
I'm proud of all of you. I really am.
Yep.
Good
All right.
night, all.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for everything. All right.
All right,
Take
good night,
care,
guys.
everybody. I appreciate it.
Good night, y'all. We'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.